Hey y'all, it's Jacqueline at Pixie Dust PhD. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Disney Vacation Club availability for the DVC resorts at Walt Disney World. Specifically, we'll be taking a look at that homeowner resort priority 11 months out. We'll be a few days shy of exactly 11 months, but I'm recording this in October of 2025, so 11 months from now is September of 2026. September is the cheapest travel period for DVC resorts at Walt Disney World, so can be weirdly competitive. We'll take a look at availability together and get a better sense of how competitive September really is. I believe I've done a look at September availability once before in the past. I do have an entire back catalog of DVC availability videos. If that's interesting to you, I will leave a link in the description below for you to check out. And as with all of those videos, there are a slew of caveats. I'm showing you one slice in time, and availability does change as folks literally move their bookings. So it could be minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. Things will look a little bit different. Trends also definitely change over time. Plus, I have not loaded the availability right when bookings open in the morning, so it may have looked a little bit different this morning. Before we get started, if you could please do me a big favor and hit the thumbs up button to like the video. You can also check to see if you're subscribed. If not, please do subscribe, and you can hit the bell icon to receive a notification whenever I upload new videos. If you find this helpful, entertaining, or informative at all, these free actions really help out the channel a lot. As we get started, let's orient everyone a little bit. So the booking dates I requested are September 13th through September 19th, 2026. 11 months from today exactly is actually the 19th, so you could request from the 19th all the way out through the 25th of September, but I decided to go ahead and go with this full week of the 13th through the 19th. So anytime in this look at availability, you see the verbiage like, not all your dates are available, that is talking about September 13th through 19th specifically. And here in the United States, September 7th, this Monday, is Labor Day. Generally speaking, the thought is more or less all public schools are back in session at least by the week of Labor Day. So I thought that this week after Labor Day might be an interesting time to look at, as will that be peak slow season in Walt Disney World? Who knows? And then there are no major US holidays in August. I do believe there are some UK holidays, so you may see an influx of folks coming over there. But then in July, the US Independence Day is July 4th. So we may speedrun this a little bit, but for every room below, you will be able to see July, August, and September. All of this is within the home resort owner priority. And we'll start at the Polynesian. So it looks like all of these are fully available. Again, you would have to have a home resort contract to book these rooms. We'll take a quick look. Here is the Resort View Duo Studio in Island Tower. Again, Resort View is new speak for Standard View, so the lame view basically. There is some of September already booked, and again, July 4th. Here is the Deluxe Studio Resort View. This will be in the traditional longhouses, not in Island Tower. That is looking good, July onward. Back at Island Tower, we've got the Resort View Deluxe Studio. Again, you've got that weekend leading into Labor Day booked, July 4th booked, but otherwise pretty available. Here's the Island Tower Duo Studio with a preferred view. Some of that time around Labor Day in September is already booked, so that's what, 10 and a half months out people are planning? And the Premium View Duo Studio in the Tower, other than July 4th, looking good. Next, we have the Preferred View Deluxe Studio in the Longhouse, so this used to be called Lake View, I believe. No worries other than July 4th. Back at Island Tower now, the Preferred View Deluxe Studio, same story, July 3rd and 4th is booked. Here's the Theme Park View Deluxe Studio in Island Tower. July 3rd and 4th are booked, but otherwise smooth sailing for July, August, and September. Literally the same thing for the one-bedroom villa with the Theme Park View in Island Tower. I wonder if this will be a running theme. The two-bedroom Theme Park View in Island Tower, slightly different. July 2nd is booked and July 4th is booked, but July 3rd is available. But otherwise good to go. Here is the Island Tower Lock-Off 2-bed with a theme park view. Unsurprisingly, July 3rd and 4th are booked. The Penthouse 2-bedroom villa with a preferred view. You've got that time around Labor Day is booked, and some more time in July is taken, but August is wide available. Here's the Theme Park View 2-bedroom penthouse in Island Tower. Quite a lot of September is taken, actually. All the way from August 30th through September 11th is booked, and then also more of July is booked too. And we've got those over-water bungalows, no worries there as per usual. So now, view rooms with partial stay and waitlist availability. What is not fully available for our selected dates, we've got the Preferred View 1-bedroom villa in Island Tower, available starting the 15th of September, but September 13th and 14th were already booked out. The Lock-Off Preferred View is going to look the same, again in Island Tower. Here we've got the Resort View 1-bed villa in Island Tower. Actually, quite a lot of that is taken September 14th through 16th now is booked. You could, again, book from the 17th onward if you have a home resort contract. And actually, a lot of that early July time is taken too compared to some other rooms. And then, yeah, the 2-bedroom lock-off with the resort view is going to look relatively similar. All right, next up we have the Grand Floridian. So it looks like all of the room types are fully available. So no worries here for the week we picked if you have a home resort contract. This is the deluxe studio with the resort view. More dates gone in August than we saw for the Polynesian. Here's the resort studio, so the converted hotel room with the resort view. July 4th is taken, July 20th is taken. The deluxe studio with the preferred view, you've got that Friday and Saturday of July 4th is taken. The resort studio with the preferred view is fully available July, August, and September. Here's that theme park view resort studio. So yeah, the time around the 4th is taken, otherwise available. The 1-bedroom villa with a resort view is 100% available. The 1-bedroom villa with the preferred view is 100% available. The 2-bedroom lock-off should look roughly like what we've seen for studio availability. So yeah, the resort view's got some dates taken, again, more in August than we'd seen at the Poly, but nothing too dramatic. Here's a dedicated 2-bedroom with a resort view that is fully available for July, August, and September. Here's your lock-off with a preferred view. July 3rd and 4th are taken, but otherwise you could book that easily. The dedicated 2-bed with the preferred view is 100% available. And finally, we have the 3-bedroom grand villa with the preferred view, which is 100% available for July, August, and September if you do have a home resort contract at the Grand Floridian. Next, we have Saratoga Springs, and I would guess that this will be fully available. And we guessed right. So again, we'll speed through this a little bit. Here is your standard deluxe studio room, totally available. The deluxe studio preferred is 100% available. The 1-bedroom standard is available. 1-bedroom preferred is available. The lock-off should also then be fully available. So yeah, this is the standard 2-bed lock-off. Oh, let's skip that for a second. Here's the preferred 2-bed lock-off. And yes, that's fully available. Moving back up, we have the dedicated, now standard 2-bedroom, still 100% bookable for you. And the dedicated 2-bed preferred, totally available. Here we have those treehouse villas. Those are also fully available. The 3-bedroom Grand Villa Standard is fully available. And then the 3-bedroom Grand Villa Preferred is also 100% available. So literally no worries at Saratoga Springs if you've got a home resort contract July onward, including July 4th. Moving on, we have Old Key West. Again, I expect to see pretty good availability here. Sometimes these rooms near the hospitality house are less available, but looking like smooth sailing, at least for the week that we asked for. So we'll start with the deluxe studio. Absolutely no worries there. Here's the deluxe studio near the hospitality house. This one sometimes is a little bit more booked out. You've got July 20th taken as well as September 10th. This is the 1-bedroom villa. I expect this will be totally available, and it is. 1-bedroom villa near the hospitality house. Nothing fully booked out here. Everything is available. And then the 2-bedroom lock-off near the hospitality house, again, will mirror what we saw for the studio. So July 20th and September 10th are already booked. If you wanted to vacation over that time, you would need to go on the wait list. Here is the 2-bedroom lock-off villa, totally available. Here's the dedicated 2-bed at Old Key West, 100% available for you to book. The dedicated 2-bedroom villa near the hospitality house is also still totally available for you to book. And then we've got the 3-bedroom grand villa near the hospitality house. Very different story. So the week we chose is fine. But interestingly, exactly 11 months from today, September 19th, is taken all the way out through September 23rd. So that is pretty dang booked out. This time leading into Labor Day is booked, but exactly Labor Day is open. A lot of August is gone, which that's the first time we've seen that. And almost all of July is gone. That's also the first time we've seen that in this peek behind the scenes at availability. Let's look at the standard 3-bedroom grand villa. This is so different. So these are effectively the same room, right? They're the same points rate. This is 286 points. This is 286 points. It's just that being near the hospitality house is a more desirable location, but you aren't paying the upcharge for it. So of course that one's more popular. If all you really wanted was a 3-bed and didn't care where it was, then no worries at all with the standard 3-bedroom grand villa that's just not near the hospitality house. Moving on, we've got Kidani Village at the Animal Kingdom Villas. I expect that the Grand Villa may not be available. And yeah, that's waitlist only, but let's take a quick look at other things. So here's your Resort View Deluxe Studio. September 10th is taken. That's not the first time that single night's been taken. If any of you know if something's happening that weekend, let me know. Savannah View Deluxe Studio is looking good. Here you've got your Resort View 1-bedroom villa, 100% available for you to book. The Savannah View 1-bedroom villa is also totally available for you to book in July, August, and September. The 2-bed lock-offs will look like, again, what we've already seen. So September 10th is taken for the resort view, and then the Savannah view should be totally available. Confirmed it is. We have the dedicated 2-bedroom villa with a resort view. That is fully available for you to book any of these days. The 2-bedroom villa with the Savannah view, fully available July through September. Now we have the 3-bed grand villa with the Savannah view. Again, that's also totally available. And the 3-bedroom grand villa with the standard view we know is not fully available. And actually, funnily, just basically the time that we picked isn't available. But if you look at the rest of September, you know, you could stay August 3rd all the way through September 11th and then September 19th onward. Just not that sheer week after Labor Day that we picked. But yeah, even July 4th is still available. So honestly, like, again, if you have a home resort contract, this is looking pretty good, even if you aren't right on top of it at 11 months. Next, we've got Bay Lake Tower, and for this one, I would guess that the Deluxe Studio Resort view might be at least partially gone, just because that is the cheapest room you can book here, and I find that it's generally pretty popular. But let's start with what is available. So you have the Preferred View Deluxe Studio. This used to be called Lakeview at Bay Lake Tower. No worries at all, July onward. This is the 1-bed Preferred View. Same story, totally available. Here's your dedicated 2-bed Resort View or Standard View. Definitely a different story here, so fine for when we asked for, but again, we're only like 1 week off of booking exactly at 11 months. But yeah, you've got September 3rd, 5th, and 6th are already booked out. A lot of the Saturdays in August, a couple of the Sundays, a lot of July is gone. Well, I mean, relatively, it's probably a little more than half. So this may be a room that you'd want to be pretty on top of it, 10 and a half months or better, ideally 11 months. Moving back down to the 1-bedroom size, now we have the Theme Park View 1-bed at Bay Lake Tower. July 3rd and 4th are booked, but otherwise all good. Got the 2-bed lock-off Preferred View. And yeah, because the 1-bed and the Studio Preferred View were so available, no worries here. The dedicated 2-bed Preferred View. Easy peasy to book July onward. Again, you have to have a home resort contract though. Here's that Theme Park View dedicated 2-bedroom villa. July 3rd and 4th are booked. Not surprising at all since you have that beautiful view of Magic Kingdom. We've got the 3-bedroom Grand Villa with a Preferred View, and that's booked July 2nd through 4th, but otherwise in July, August, and September available for you to book. And then the Theme Park View 3-bedroom Grand Villa, very available honestly. Again, July 3rd and 4th are booked, but otherwise no worries. So what is not fully available? We've got the Deluxe Studio Theme Park View room, is booked on September 10th and September 14th, as well as the early time in July, inclusive of July 4th, but otherwise the rest of July is fine, all of August is fine, and most of September looks good. Here we've got the Resort View 1-bedroom villa. Again, we've got September 10th and 14th booked, like we just saw, but also September 12th. A couple chunks of time in August and July, including July 4th. Got that lock-off theme park view 2-bed, so again, this will mirror what we already saw. Deluxe Studio Resort View. So how booked is this? Pretty picked over. Again, this is all only home resort owners. Non-home resort owners can't even start to book until May, and so we haven't even shown you that for anything. So May 20th onward is going to be home resort owners only. Look at how booked out, half of June's gone, half of July's gone, a good chunk of August is gone. Probably about half of September that's available so far is gone. Within when we asked for, you could book September 16th through 18th, but then the 19th is taken. That could have been different this morning, so maybe you could have done the 16th through the 22nd or something. And then the 2-bed lock-off resort view will more or less mirror what we looked at just now, just because, if the studio resort view availability is bad, a lock-off is literally the studio plus the 1-bed, so can't do too much about that. Back over at Animal Kingdom Villas now, we will look at the Jambo House side. This tends to be considerably more competitive than the Kidani side, especially the club rooms and value rooms, which is exactly what we're seeing in those waitlist only categories. But so for not club or value, you've got your Deluxe Studio Resort View. September 5th, as well as September 9th through 11th is already taken. So the week we asked for is fine, but some of September is taken. A couple days in August, July 4th timeframe. Here's that same Deluxe Studio, but a Savannah view. This is looking good, honestly. Interestingly, July 1st is taken, but the 3rd, 4th, 5th, etc. are available. Ooh, the 1-bedroom value is available. Again, you would have to have a home resort to book this week, but you can see compared to those other rooms, the value rooms just are more in demand for sure. Here's the Resort View standard 1-bedroom villa, so not the value anymore. Smooth sailing all of July, August, and September. Here's the 1-bedroom villa Savannah view. Similar story, 100% available for you to book. The 2-bed lock-off villa with a resort view, again, will look like what we've already seen since it's a lock-off. Same with the 2-bed lock-off Savannah view. Absolutely no worries in that one. Then we have the 3-bedroom Grand Villa Savannah view is the last room type that's fully available for our requested dates in September. And really, it's generally quite available. July 2nd is taken, but the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are available. And then July 20th is taken. Then we're moving into all the room types that don't have full availability for our requested date. So here's the Value Studio. This is usually 100% booked. And yeah, you can see, this morning at 8 a.m., presumably the 19th would have been available. Then you could have booked the 19th through 25th maybe, but generally, even if you have a home resort contract with this one, there's a lot of luck involved in booking that. Same usually for Club Concierge Deluxe Studio. It's a very cheap rate for the room that you're getting. And yeah, actually even all the way through September 24th is fully taken. Again, that might have been different this morning, but you're playing a game of fastest fingers. And then so for the 2-bed lock-off value, of course, because the studio availability is so bad, this is also going to be very poor. Then we've got the 1-bed villa for Club Concierge. This usually is a little more available than the Club Concierge Studio, and you're seeing that here for sure. But for example, all of September that's bookable is already gone. And again, I think this at least partially speaks to the fact that September is the cheapest travel period. So you will find people going out of their way to travel in September when you can spend the fewest amount of points per night on a really cool room. And then the 2-bed lock-off Club Concierge level we know is just going to look heinous based on what we saw for the studio. Moving on, then we have Copper Creek. So we'll start with the Resort View Deluxe Studio. You can see our week is fine and most of September is fine. The 9th and 10th of September are already booked. And July 20th, so that again is not the first time we've seen July 20th booked out. If there's interesting Disney events that you guys know about in the timeframes where we're seeing these, to me, random days booked, definitely leave a comment down below, please. I'd love to be educated. Here's the Deluxe Studio with a shower with a resort view. So the Deluxe Studios at Copper Creek are split up between standard Deluxe Studio, it's gonna have a tub and a shower, or one with only a shower for your awareness. September 10th is booked, July 20th is booked, and then July 3rd and 4th are booked. Moving up in size, we've got the 1-bed villa resort view, 100% available for homeowners to book July onward. Here we've got the 2-bed lock-off with the shower. So again, this should look like what we've seen for the Deluxe Studio with the shower. And there's the 2-bed lock-off with the tub and shower, just standard 2-bed lock-off, mirroring what we saw for the Deluxe Studio there. Now we have the dedicated 2-bedroom villa with a resort view, 100% available for homeowners to book. We've got the cabin. This is usually pretty available. Yep, no worries there. And it might be worth noting that for these very expensive specialty rooms, so the cabin here at Copper Creek and then the bungalows over at the Poly, even though September is the cheapest month, these things usually just don't get booked out until a handful of months beforehand. It is such a large commitment, and it is like a weird room type. And then the 3-bedroom Grand Villa at Copper Creek is not fully available for our requested dates, and actually you can see it's not really available at all. So all the way out through September 25th is booked. July, August, September, June, May, April. There's some days available in February and March. So anyone could book those. Anyone who had the points to book them could book those. But yeah, dang. This is also one of those rooms where even with a home resort contract, like that might not be enough for you to definitely secure the room. Next, we have the Riviera, and so they will be doing Skyliner maintenance kind of this end of January timeframe, both in 2026 and 2027, FYI. Is anything not available? Yeah, so actually quite a lot is not fully available. Let's take a look first at what is fully available. The Preferred View Deluxe Studio is usually much easier to book than the Resort View Deluxe Studio. September 10th is already taken though, but July 4th is available, for example. Here's the 1-bedroom villa with a resort view. No worries here. And for the Riviera, I mean, in September, 29 points on weeknights. That's not bad. Again, for the Riviera. Here's the 1-bed villa with the Preferred View. I expect that this will be fully available. And yep, no worries there. Again, you can see, 29 points compared to 36. That adds up over time. Here we've got the 2-bed lock off with the Preferred View. This should be pretty okay. And yep, we've got September 10th is taken, but otherwise smooth sailing. This is the dedicated 2-bedroom Preferred View at the Riviera. 100% available July onward for homeowners to book. Here we've got the 3-bedroom Grand Villa, also totally available for homeowners to book, so that's cool. And now we're moving into rooms that were not fully available for our exact requested dates. So this is the Resort View Deluxe Studio. This one tends to be pretty competitive. You can see that it is available from September 14th through the 18th, just not the 13th, which is when our request started. And also exactly 11 months from today, on the 19th is booked. This may have been different this morning again. Remember that I am not doing this right when availability opens up. But look at August. It's so picked over. This might be the worst August we've seen so far. And a lot of July is gone too. Then so the 2-bedroom lock-off with the Resort View. Again, the lock-offs rely on availability of the 1-bed and the studio that you put together. So this is similarly going to look like the studio. Here we have the dedicated 2-bed with the Resort View. This only has 2 of our requested nights available. So you can see that the 14th was also available, but because it's broken up by September 15th and 16th being booked, this is just kind of unfortunate timing on us. Like if you were able to move your vacation up or down a week, you would probably be fine. And August is fully available again. Most of July is available. This room doesn't seem that bad if you're a home resort owner, at least right now. And then we have the Tower Studio. These only sleep 2 people. They're the cheapest room type at the Riviera. They tend to be very competitive. And yeah, you can see, look at September. I mean, it's only 10 points a night, which is pretty great. Again, for the Riviera, right? You can spend the same amount of points at BoardWalk and get an actual deluxe studio. But for the Riviera, this is incredibly cheap. And you can see September is pretty competitive. Speaking of the BoardWalk, let's take a look at that one. So again, Skyliner is going to be closed. And then it looks like the pool is going under some refurb time. The Garden or Pool View Deluxe Studio is fully available for our requested dates in September and largely available July, August, and September, except for September 10th. You could even stay here for July 4th still if you wanted to book that room as a home resort owner. This is the 1-bedroom villa with a resort view, 100% available July onward for home resort owners. Next, we've got the 1-bedroom villa with the BoardWalk view. The BoardWalk view rooms, I think, are smaller in inventory and generally more popular, so sometimes harder to book. But in this case, July onward for home resort owners, again, no big deal at all. 1-bedroom villa, garden or pool view, I would expect to be 100% available. The garden or pool view points rate is the same as the BoardWalk rate, but I believe the inventory for the garden or pool view rooms is just way higher. And yeah, no problems at all booking that room. And so following the same logic we've been talking about, the 2-bed lock off for the garden or pool view should be no problem at all given what we've seen. And so yeah, September 10th is taken based on the studio availability, but otherwise smooth sailing. And oh, the 3-bedroom grand villa with the BoardWalk view is fully available for our dates. That's cool. And really from July 16th onward, you are looking good. Interestingly, July 11th through 15th is taken, as well as July 1st, but the time at July 4th is available, the time at Labor Day is available, so that's not bad at all. Okay, and what's not fully available? We've got the deluxe studio with the BoardWalk view. This tends to be a very competitive room. Not quite as competitive as like the value studio at Animal Kingdom, but it's up there. So yeah, you can see September's already fairly picked over. The week we asked for has September 14th taken, as well as September 17th. Exactly 11 months from today on September 19th is taken. There's a little bit of time in August that's already gone. Quite a lot of July is gone, including July 4th. So yeah, this is a room where even if you have that home resort priority, I wouldn't dilly-dally. Then we've got the 2-bed lock-off BoardWalk view. This should look like more or less what we just talked about because, again, it's the BoardWalk view and it's the lock-off 2-bed. And the Resort View Deluxe Studio is waitlist only. I wouldn't be surprised if this is dang near fully taken. And yeah, you can see September is looking awful. So again, presumably, hopefully this morning, maybe the 19th was available and then you could have booked. But right now, September 19th and 20th are fully booked. So you would have to wait a couple days even to get into the September 21st timeframe, 11 months out. And a lot of August is taken, almost all of July is taken. This is one of the cheaper rooms on property. The location's great, so a lot of people really fight for this room, including the home resort owners. And then the 2-bed lock-off with the resort view is going to look equally abysmal. I really enjoy the BoardWalk Resort, and I sometimes toy with the idea of getting a small contract, but seeing how competitive it is for the resort view, the cheap deluxe studio, it's like, dang, would it really even be worth it? Moving along then, we'll take a look at Boulder Ridge Villas, and you can see that all the rooms are fully available. There is no grand villa here, so you've got your deluxe studio at Boulder Ridge, and everything's resort view. Smooth sailing here, literally no worries at all, at least June through the time in September when we can book. Next, we've got the 1-bedroom villa. Same story, 100% available for July, August, and September that we're looking at. The 2-bedroom lock-off villa is next. It should reflect exactly what we've already seen, so easy to book with home resort owner priority here. And then this is the dedicated 2-bedroom with the resort view. And yeah, totally smooth sailing, so no worries at all for Boulder Ridge. at least this one time that we've looked at availability for mid-September. Next, we've got Beach Club. This tends to also be pretty competitive, but actually it looks like everything is fully available for the time we selected. Here's your Resort View Deluxe Studio. So September 10th is taken, as well as July 3rd and 4th. I really am starting to think that there must be something the weekend of September 11th. I don't know. September 10th has just been weirdly booked out. Here's the 1-bedroom villa at Beach Club, totally available. No worries here. September 10th is available in this case. The 2-bed lock off with the resort view at Beach Club should basically mirror what we saw for the studio. And so, yep, September 10th is taken, as well as July 3rd and 4th, but otherwise, July, August, and September, you can basically stay when you want. And finally, at Beach Club, we've got the dedicated 2-bedroom villa with the resort view. Again, they're all resort view. It's the same view for everything at Beach Club, and 100% available. No worries at all here. And last but not least, we will have the cabins at Fort Wilderness. This is just one room type. It's those 1-bedroom cabins. These have been relatively easier to book, I would say, like not quite as competitive. And yeah, you can see July, August, and September are still fully available. I hope this look behind the scenes has been helpful for you. I really love traveling kind of after Labor Day crowds are gonna go away. Even if it's not to a Disney location, just generally speaking, at least for American locations, a lot of people have done their end of summer travel, which means like airports are less busy, hotels are cheaper, etc. Now down in Disney World, it still is going to be very hot, very sweaty, so don't think it's fall there yet, and you are also still in hurricane season, I believe. It does tend to still rain every day, but it can be a really lovely time to go. And based on this look, the 11-month availability really wasn't bad. I find it 7 months September to be pretty dang competitive, but 11 months, like most of those rooms were pretty okay. So I think that's another check in the column of choose your home resort where you want to stay. And hopefully if you are buying into Disney Vacation Club, it's because you are able to plan about a year in advance in order to take advantage of your home resort priority. I'd love to hear any thoughts or musings you have about this availability in the comments down below. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comments too, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you again for supporting the channel by liking the video and subscribing. I really appreciate it, and extra gratitude to my Ko-fi members. If you want more information about how to support me outside of YouTube, I will link to my Ko-fi in the description below. I hope your fall 2025 is going well, and if you are planning a Disney Vacation Club trip for fall 2026, may the booking odds be ever in your favor. May the rest of your day be magical. We'll see you next time at Pixie Dust PhD.